All right, so you know how we usually like to really dig into those earnings calls?
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit
Okay,
because some really big news dropped and we have to deep dive into it.
for sure.
Ubisoft,
Oh, wow.
you know, the company behind like Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and just dance.
Yeah.
Well, they've gone and hired some advisors, and it's not for a new dance move.
Interesting.
What's fascinating is that these advisors are specifically tasked with exploring strategic options.
Yeah. And, in the world of finance, that phrase often signals one thing, a potential sale, a buyout.
Exactly. And this all comes right on the heels of, well, a less than stellar launch for Star Wars Outlaw.
Yeah, right.
Then we had the second delay of Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was supposed to be their big comeback story.
Yeah, it seems like something's up.
Definitely something's up.
It's a crucial moment for Ubisoft.
Absolutely.
And it could actually reshape the entire gaming landscape.
Yeah, just think about it.
Like, imagine the implications for your favorite franchises if a new owner steps in.
Totally. It could be a complete overhaul, you know,
Yeah.
a fresh start, or maybe just a continuation of existing trends.
Right. So, to understand where Ubisoft might be headed, we need to kind of take a quick trip down memory lane.
Okay.
They weren't always this massive gaming giant.
No.
Remember, back in the 80s, they were just a family business
Really?
distributing games in France.
Wow.
The Guillemot brothers, the founders,
Yeah.
they were sharp from a young age.
Huh.
They saw the potential in video games early on.
Interesting.
They even sold CD, audio media, and computers at one point.
Oh, wow.
And they started by undercutting other suppliers, offering games at almost half the price.
Really?
Talk about a disruptive business model.
Yeah.
By the early 90s, they'd become the biggest video game distributor in France.
That's incredible.
But they were hungry for more.
Yeah.
Soon they took a leap into development with their own IPs, starting with Rayman.
Raymond.
It was a smash hit, put them on the global map,
It really did.
and that marked a shift in their strategy. Okay.
They went from distributing others' games to creating their own.
Makes sense.
They strategically acquired major franchises like Tom Clancy,
Right.
steadily building this portfolio of blockbuster IPs.
Alongside those they developed in-house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how they went from this small family business
I know.
to this global powerhouse with studios in almost every major city,
Crazy.
creating games played by millions worldwide.
Absolutely.
They became known for those massive open worlds,
Yes.
those intricate storylines,
Yeah.
and of course, those iconic franchises we mentioned.
Of course.
But, you know, even giants can stumble.
Yeah, that's true.
Lately, it hasn't all been sunshine and rainbows for Ubisoft.
What do you mean?
We had the underperformance of Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora,
Right.
and Skull and Bones,
Yeah.
and then the whole Outlaws situation.
Yeah, it's like they hit a rough patch.
For sure. And this is where things get really interesting
Okay.
and maybe a little concerning for Ubisoft.
How so?
They have a massive development team,
They do.
one of the largest in the industry.
Yeah.
But when you compare their revenue per employee to their competitors,
Yeah.
it paints a different picture.
I see what you mean.
It raises questions about their efficiency.
Yeah, are they spread too thin?
Right.
Are their development processes bloated?
These are questions that potential buyers and investors will be asking.
Absolutely.
And then there's the whole Vivendi saga.
Yeah.
Remember back in 2015
Uh-huh.
when Vivendi tried to take over Ubisoft?
This massive media conglomerate,
Yeah,
it was a tense standoff.
It was.
The Guillemots saw Vivendi's approach as a direct threat to their creative freedom.
Exactly.
They believed that being absorbed by a giant corporation like that would stifle their ability to innovate.
And take risks.
Right.
They pulled out all the stop seeking investment from Canadian institutions
Interesting.
and ultimately partnering with Tencent to buy back shares.
Tencent, huh?
Yeah, so that partnership with Tencent back then was seen as a lifeline, a way to keep Ubisoft in the hands of the people who built it.
Right.
But now,
Yeah.
fast forward to today, and Tencent is rumored to be the one increasing its stake in Ubisoft.
Wow. Talk about a plot twist.
Right. It's like that friend who helps you move out of your ex's place and then starts dating them a few months later.
Oh, yeah. No, exactly what you mean.
Makes you wonder, what are Tencent's long-term plans?
Mhm.
Will they try to influence Ubisoft's games?
Especially for the Chinese market.
Right.
Makes you think.
It does. And
Mhm.
it's not just the big players we need to consider.
True.
Ubisoft has also faced some internal challenges.
Like what?
Back in 2020, there were those serious allegations of sexual misconduct,
Yeah.
leading to the departure of several high-ranking executives.
Right.
And that was a really tough period for Ubisoft.
I bet.
It led to employee activism,
Oh, wow.
with groups like A Better Ubisoft
Okay.
demanding more accountability and better working conditions.
Yeah.
They even organized strikes as recently as October 2024, demanding a safer and more inclusive work environment.
It's a reminder that even in a creative industry like gaming,
Yeah,
company culture and employee well-being are paramount.
absolutely.
Potential buyers will be looking at how Ubisoft has addressed these issues and what steps they've taken to improve their workplace.
For sure. So with all this baggage, why would anyone want to buy Ubisoft?
Good question.
Well, let's look at the potential upside.
First, Ubisoft owns some of the most valuable IPs in gaming.
Oh, for sure.
Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six.
All huge.
These are global brands with a massive and dedicated fan base.
Absolutely.
A new owner could leverage these IPs to generate significant revenue through sequels,
Right.
spin-offs,
Mhm.
even transmedia projects.
Yeah, and let's not forget about the potential for restructuring and streamlining.
That's right.
A new owner, especially a private equity firm, might come in and try to make Ubisoft more efficient, more profitable.
It's a classic playbook.
And with activist investors already pushing for a sale, the pressure's on it.
Like they're at a poker table
Sure.
and everyone's waiting to see who folds first.
But here's the wild card.
Okay.
Ubisoft is betting big on Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Really?
They've delayed it twice. They're incorporating player feedback. They're polishing it to a shine.
Wow.
They're hoping it'll be their saving grace.
It's a high-stakes gamble.
It is.
They're putting all their chips on this one game to turn things around,
Yeah.
to prove they can still deliver a blockbuster hit.
But they're not just sitting around waiting for a miracle.
Right.
They're trying to cut costs, too, aiming for over $200 million in fixed cost reductions by the 2025-26 fiscal year.
That's significant.
Is they're closing studios, consolidating resources. It's a major belt-tightening operation.
It's a two-pronged approach,
Yeah.
trying to create a hit while also streamlining their operations.
Exactly.
It shows a sense of urgency, a recognition that they need to act decisively to secure their future.
It's going to be a wild ride watching this unfold.
It will.
Will Shadows be the blockbuster they need?
I don't know.
Will a buyer swoop in and change everything?
We'll be here analyzing every move, every rumor, every financial report,
And you, our listeners, will be right there with us.
getting the inside scoop.
Now, before we get too serious,
Yeah.
let's take a break and indulge in our favorite segment.
Okay.
This is not financial advice.
Right. I'm all ears.
I've got a trade idea that's so out there it just might work.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Okay, so hear me out. What if, and this is a big what if,
Yeah.
someone other than Tencent buys Ubisoft?
Okay, interesting. Who are you thinking?
What about Microsoft?
Microsoft.
Think about it. They just had to give up cloud gaming rights to some of their biggest titles.
To get that Activision Blizzard deal past regulators.
Exactly. So they might be hungry for a new acquisition.
I see where you're going with this. Microsoft has been on a buying spree lately, and they've shown a clear interest in expanding their gaming portfolio.
Exactly. Imagine the possibilities.
Okay.
Halo meets Assassin's Creed in some crazy crossover event.
Haha.
Okay, maybe that's a bit far-fetched.
A little bit.
But it paints a picture of the potential shakeup this situation could create.
It's a wild idea, but not entirely implausible.
Right.
The gaming landscape is constantly shifting, and a move like that would definitely turn heads.
It would send shockwaves through the industry,
For sure.
and it would be fascinating to see how it would play out.
And just imagine the headlines. Microsoft assassinates Tencent's Ubisoft takeover. It would be a media frenzy.
All right. Disclaimer time. This is purely hypothetical and definitely not financial advice.
Absolutely do not base any investment decisions on our wild speculation.
But it does make you think, right?
Yeah.
This Ubisoft situation is full of twists and turns.
Definitely.
And we're just getting started.
It certainly does. It shows how unpredictable the gaming industry can be. But before we get too lost in the speculation, we'll rewind a bit and explore how Ubisoft got to this point.
All right.
We talked about Rayman, but their real breakthrough in the U.S. market came with a strategic partnership.
Yes. Rayman, a true icon.
But you're right, they needed something to really crack the U.S. market.
For sure.
And they found it by teaming up with Microsoft to develop Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell.
Oh, yeah, an exclusive title for the original Xbox.
It was a brilliant move.
What?
They tapped into the popularity of the Tom Clancy brand
Uh,
and leveraged the power of the then new Xbox console.
smart.
It was a direct challenge to the Metal Gear Solid series on PlayStation.
Oh, wow.
And it worked.
Splinter Cell was a massive hit.
Huge.
It put Ubisoft on the map in the U.S.
Yeah.
and solidified their relationship with Microsoft.
For sure.
And that was just the beginning of their love affair with the Tom Clancy universe.
They expanded on that success with titles like Rainbow Six
Right.
and Ghost Recon,
Yeah.
establishing themselves as a major player in the action and tactical shooter genres.
Yeah, let's not forget about Prince of Persia.
Oh, yeah.
They acquired that franchise when they bought the Learning Company's entertainment division back in 2001.
Wow.
That deal also included some other gems like the Amidst series. But Prince of Persia was the real prize.
Prince of Persia. The Sands of Time, developed by Ubisoft Montreal, was a critical and commercial success.
Absolutely.
It breathed new life into the franchise.
It did.
And showcased Ubisoft's ability to revitalize established IPs.
And here's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The Sands of Time wasn't just a great game.
What else?
It was the birthplace of another Ubisoft mega hit.
Which one?
Assassin's Creed.
No way.
The team at Ubisoft Montreal was actually working on a sequel to Sands of Time.
Okay.
When they had this crazy idea for a game about assassins battling the Templar Knights throughout history.
Wow.
And that crazy idea became a global phenomenon.
Assassin's Creed launched in 2007.
Yeah.
Became an instant classic. It spawned numerous sequels, spin-offs, novels.
Even a movie.
It's a testament to Ubisoft's willingness to embrace bold ideas and their commitment to world building.
It's the kind of risk-taking that defines a company that's not afraid to push boundaries and try new things.
But as we've seen, those risks don't always pay off.
You're right. And Ubisoft's recent struggles have some people wondering if their golden age is over.
Can they recapture that magic?
Can Assassin's Creed Shadows be the game that brings them back to the top?
It's a tall order.
It is.
The gaming landscape has changed dramatically since the early days of Assassin's Creed.
In what ways?
The rise of free-to-play games, mobile gaming,
Oh, right.
and subscription services like Xbox Game Pass has created intense competition for players' time and money.
For sure. And Ubisoft is primarily focused on these AAA games with long playtimes.
Yeah.
Which don't necessarily align with current gaming trends.
It's like they're trying to sell gourmet meals in a world that's increasingly obsessed with fast food.
And they've also faced criticism for relying too heavily on a formula.
You know that phrase.
It's just another Ubisoft game.
Yeah, it became a bit of a meme, a way of poking fun at their tendency to release games that felt too similar to predictable.
That Ubisoft formula is a double-edged sword. On the one hand, it provides a familiar and comfortable experience for players.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it can lead to a sense of stagnation and a lack of innovation.
And then there are those internal challenges we talked about.
Yeah.
The sexual misconduct allegations and the subsequent employee activism have undoubtedly had an impact on the company's culture and potentially their creative output.
Right. A toxic work environment can stifle creativity and innovation.
It's like trying to write a symphony in a room full of distractions and negativity.
Yeah, it's just not conducive to producing great work.
And it can damage a company's reputation, making it harder to attract and retain top talent.
So while Ubisoft is battling external forces like market trends and competition, they're also grappling with internal issues that could be hindering their ability to adapt and evolve.
It's like they're sailing a ship through a storm.
Yeah.
They need to fix the leaks below deck while also navigating treacherous waters.
Yeah, it's a great point. Sometimes taking a step back and trying something new can lead to those unexpected breakthroughs.
For sure. But speaking of unexpected, let's revisit those cost reduction efforts Ubisoft has been implementing.
Right.
They're aiming for some serious savings, right?
Yeah, over $200 million in fixed cost reductions by the 2025-26 fiscal year.
Yeah, that's a huge EE number.
It is. Makes you wonder what they're cutting and if it'll impact the quality of their games.
Well, they've announced some studio closures and layoffs, which is never a good sign.
No.
It indicates they're trying to streamline their operations and reduce overhead.
Right. But could cutting too deeply backfire? I mean, if they lose talent and resources, wouldn't that hurt their ability to create those blockbuster hits they're known for?
That's the risk they're taking.
Yeah.
It's a delicate balancing act.
They
need to cut costs without sacrificing the quality that players expect from a Ubisoft game.
Right.
They've also talked about consolidating resources, focusing on their most promising projects, and streamlining their development processes.
So it seems like they're trying to be more efficient, more focused, and more strategic with their spending.
Exactly.
Almost like they're tightening their belts and preparing for a long journey.
They're trying to weather the storm and emerge stronger on the other side.
Yeah.
It's a strategy that many companies adopt when facing financial challenges.
But it remains to be seen if it'll be enough to restore investor confidence and attract a potential buyer.
It's a high-stakes game they're playing,
It is.
and the next few months will be crucial for Ubisoft.
All right, before we wrap up this deep dive, let's have some fun with our "This is not financial advice" segment.
Okay.
Got any crazy trade ideas brewing?
I do, actually. This one involves a bit of time travel and a whole lot of speculation.
Lay it on me. I'm ready for anything.
What if, and this is purely hypothetical,
Uh-huh.
someone had access to a time machine back in 2015,
Okay.
right when Vivendi was making their move on Ubisoft.
Oh, I like where this is going.
So we've got a time machine,
Yeah.
and we're back in 2015. What's the play?
What is the play?
Well, knowing what we know now about Ubisoft's struggles and Tencent's growing influence, we could short sell Vivendi's stock.
Short selling.
Yeah, betting that their stock price will go down.
Yeah.
Knowing that their attempt to acquire Ubisoft would ultimately fail,
Right.
and that this would likely hurt their stock price, we could potentially make a tidy profit.
It's a risky move relying on hindsight and a hypothetical time machine.
It is.
But it highlights the volatile nature of the market
Yes.
and how even giants like Vivendi can make miscalculations.
And remember, folks, this is purely hypothetical and definitely not financial advice.
Absolutely. Time travel is still in the realm of science fiction, and short selling is a complex and risky investment strategy.
Always do your own research, consult with a qualified financial advisor, and never invest more than you can afford to lose.
So we've explored Ubisoft's past, dissected their present, and even ventured into the realm of hypothetical time travel.
We have.
What are your final thoughts on this gaming giant's future?
Ubisoft is at a pivotal moment.
They are.
The decisions they make in the coming months will determine whether they remain an independent force in the gaming industry or become another piece in a larger corporate puzzle.
They have the talent, the resources, and the iconic IPs to stage a comeback.
They do.
But they need to adapt to a changing market, address their internal challenges, and make some bold moves to secure their future.
The gaming world is watching closely.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right here with you, our listeners, analyzing every step of this unfolding saga.
It's been a wild ride, and we're just getting started. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Ubisoft.
And remember, folks, whether it's gaming or investing, the future is full of surprises.
That's for sure.
Keep those minds open and those controllers charged.